What you should do, man, is you should invent a mixed reality app where the kids are like in like a chain gang, like picking up trash or something on the highway. You know what I mean? Just to learn what it's like to have to do community service and be in prison, man. So that way they just don't want to do it, man.
Where were you at?
I studied in the Netherlands.
Okay.
So for 5.5 months, I hit 14 countries.
Nice.
So this dude has done more in his young ass life than the majority of us have done as grown men.
What are you studying?
What was I studying?
Yeah.
I was studying information systems. So I study here at the University of Minnesota. I study information systems. And I went over there. The Netherlands school that I went to, Maastricht, had a lot of the classes that would transfer over. So that's how I ended up there. And then, fortunately enough, I had like 6 airports around me.
Wow.
And so it was like super easy to see like different flight prices. And you finally find one that's cheap. You're like, I got to go that weekend. So I went to 14 different countries. And
what are some of the countries you went to?
I first hit Lisbon, Portugal.
Been looking to check that out.
And so it was a good learning experience the whole time itself. My dad came out with me to start. We had a rental car, got all my stuff back, and then went back up to Amsterdam for the weekend. I hit Amsterdam 4 times, and I think if I was there like fully in Amsterdam, I don't know if I would have made it back because that place is like insane. Like
the red light district.
What, dude? Everything's there. Like it's like you can do whatever you want. It's a pretty free place, but
he said, I don't know if I would have made it back if I would have went all the way in.
Yes. Spent all your money.
Yeah. So I was 2.5 hours south, on the south side of Amsterdam, Netherlands, and flying out. I went to Lisbon, Portugal, came back, didn't realize that the transportation system, the train station, ended at 10. I had my flight at 11:30. So first trip, I come back and I'm staying in the airport till 5 a.m. till the trains start up again. But I hit Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, Belgium, Copenhagen, Germany for sure. Switzerland was the most beautiful, super expensive. So one night was enough. We went out at night and, ended up talking to a bunch of older people, and we're just casually sitting there like, yeah, we'll get a rum and Coke too. $26. I was like, yeah,
wow.
That's
Switzerland's like one of the richest companies, ain't it?
Switzerland, yeah. Yeah, that's where Swiss banks, man. That's where everybody goes to pool their money.
Yeah, because they're neutral. That's where Rob puts all his money.
That's what my brother calls me, Switzerland. That's not because of the money, just because I cut inside the jail. So he says all the gangs say I'm neutral, so I'm Switzerland.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so.
Nice.
So what would you say was one of the craziest things you've seen when you were over there? Or do you not want to put that on tape?
No.
He already said he almost didn't make it back. Didn't you hear him? If he would have got in a little deeper.
One of the craziest, that I can fully speak about was Dublin on St. Patrick's Day. And not even because the people in Ireland were crazy. It's like the Americans that come over to Dublin.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you see fights in the street for the whole night. 8 hours of people just wrestling, fighting. Yeah. Yeah. It's insane. But it's kind of like structured and set up and maintained by the people of the streets too.
Or like a mosh pit or something?
Yeah. The whole time you just walk down, you see clubs, and outside of all of them, there's security guards there that are doing their thing, but most of the time it's just kind of monitored by the people around, and everyone will jump in if it gets too serious and break it up. We saw that at the day, St. Patrick's Day. We had to get another hotel room there because we tried to fit like everyone does, 8 people in a 2-person room because it was so expensive. Ended up having to get another room, still sneak 2 people into each of those rooms. But it was just a good time. It was just the whole city was packed up.
Jeez, dude. Can you imagine going there on St. Patty's Day?
That'd be crazy.
No, man.
Real crazy. Especially if you got to walk through a mosh pit, you know, you're fighting your way just to get up the block. Somebody just come out of nowhere and muff you.
I know, man. Everybody coming up to you like the Irish fighter like this. I don't even know how to act. So, you know, the reason why we wanted to have you on, man, is because we wanted to talk a little bit about what you got going on outside of your travel and party lifestyle that you got going on right now. You know what I mean? We want to talk a little bit about some of these businesses that you're working on. Because I know that you have a couple in the works, and I'm curious here. Could you remind me really quick? I know one of them has to do with social network, right? And Riley, for those of you guys watching this on YouTube, Riley looks like the guy from the Social Network, man. He looks like one of them guys. He looks like he could be on like the Harvard row team or something like that. And then you got another one that has something to do with augmented reality, correct?
Yep.
Correct?
Yes.
And so these are startup companies, right? These are just kind of getting started, or what kind of success have you seen? Let's start with the Social Network.
Yeah. So I started getting more entrepreneurial as I got into my first year of college. Rather than going and playing football, I decided to stay back and go to the University of Minnesota and make my way into Carlson and start being an entrepreneur.
Don't you got to have like a 4.0 GPA just to get into Carlson?
I didn't make it in right away. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there are people that are smart enough to make it in right away. I did. I started in another program and then made my way in by sophomore year. That was the whole goal.
Mm-hmm.
But during that whole time frame, I started getting my real estate license in the beginning, and then focused on getting into building a social media platform as well, all around the same time. And then during that same time, I got in touch with the guy who's still my partner to this day, and started doing extended reality software development. But starting with the Social Network platform, it's still in the works, because to make a social media platform takes so much time, energy, and just every little button that you put on there, everything that people click has to be the right icon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're messing up putting 4 icons instead of 5 or 6 icons instead of, it's everything matters, and we're just trying to get it right. But it's a place where you can come with your business ideas and put them on this platform, but it's tailored towards university students. So you have to have a .edu to be on the platform to start out with. And then we were focusing on bringing it into the University of Minnesota, and then letting it organically grow out to other colleges. As they hear about it, they get, say, 100 people from Madison, Wisconsin to say, hey, why don't we have this? That's when we'll bring it over there. So the organic growth comes from the exclusivity and people wanting it, and then we'll bring it over to you. But someone like myself who has the ideas and maybe the financial background and some marketing needs somebody who knows how to code and to help us develop this platform, or any app that you're creating. And I can't just walk into a CSE classroom, and say, hey, I'm building this app. Who can help me out? And so that's what this is for, is to give you that platform to put your ideas on there. And get that feedback and get traction with others in the university. Because I honestly feel like, at least in the business side, you have a lot more time than you allocate towards just school. Obviously, a lot of people want to party and have fun, and I still get that lifestyle too, but you still have more time than that. And what are you putting that towards? Are you putting it towards watching a 9-season Netflix show in 2 weeks, or are you trying to better yourself? So that's the goal of kids that want to do that can come out of this social media platform.
Nice.
Sweet, dude. So it's funny because you came up with basically a way for other people to find and connect with people that can help them with their business. But yet, in order to start that, you also had to find organically someone to help you with the business, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Which is my problem too, man, because every time I have an idea for anything, even this podcast, I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? Not going to hire a videographer. I'm not going to hire a producer. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy thousands of dollars of the stuff I need. I'm going to watch 1 million YouTube videos and figure out how to do everything myself.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that
slows
down. It slows down the process for sure.
Yeah, but on the back end, you know how to do certain things like video editing and.
Yeah, I'm on the ground level of understanding a million different things instead of just focusing on what was important. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you can have all those different kids that are focusing on one specific thing and bring them all together. You kind of have
That's
that.
awesome, dude.
It's like
So-
a management platform.
So right now, it's the app itself is in existence or no? It's on app stores, or do you have it connected with certain colleges? How does one look at the app? How's one test out the app?
So and this is where, I believe that if you have the right ideas, you can say them out there. It's not up yet. And most people would be like not comfortable sharing a business idea, essentially is what it is at the moment, in front of people. But we've tried, and we put out a website that was kind of cheesy looking. We tried to make it ourselves. And, we just haven't put together a team of developers and coders yet. And, we actually kind of, the partner that I have in that scenario, we kind of started to do some more e-commerce side of things to just build and develop the income and the money to then move forward with it. Because we still feel like the ideas that we have, like beyond the MVP, are what makes this platform the platform. Because the MVP is something that attracts a lot of people, and it's like, okay, this is going to be awesome. But then beyond that, we've got version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 set up and ready to roll.
So Riley's using acronyms like MVP. I think he means minimal viable product.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Minimum
Viable product.
minimum viable product.
Yeah.
Which he's just throwing around words like MVP, and Rob's like, I'm the MVP. What are you talking about? Because he ain't explaining the actual acronym.
That's just for our audience to know what MVP is.
Yeah,
That's-
correct.
Yeah.
I'm not the MVP. So are there any other apps out there that are similar to that, or that you would compare your app to?
Yeah, there's a company, if you want to, start up and try something similar to what we're doing out. I guess the closest one would be Startup Tree.
Okay.
And it's been most successful at Duke. It's at the University of Minnesota, and there's been some entrepreneurial professors that I've talked to that see faith in Startup Tree and want it to work. But it's kind of the UX and UI design of the website isn't as I don't want to shoot them down too hard, but it's not as good as I would like it to be, and as appealing.
See, I told you guys, he's just like the guy from The Social Network. He's about to steal this app. He's about to steal the idea of this app. He's about to make billions.
We got a lot more that it can come with. It, so, yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
So do you have a name for the app? Does the app?
Yeah. So right now we're calling it Step Set, and so
Okay.
it's like the steps that you're setting to move forward within your venture career. It's somebody that we talked to that is in the entrepreneurial world wanted us to change the name to Venture U. So in the comments, let me know if you got a different name.
Yeah,
that I can
Venture
come
U.
with,
I like
so.
Venture U. Stepset reminds me of Dipset, man. Remember Dipset?
Yeah, I know.
Cameron and them.
Uh-oh.
Yep, Jim Jones.
This is just how I roll.
That's not how they sound, Corey.
Come on, man.
Dipset.
And Riley's like, who are these people?
I have no idea.
Santana, Cameron, Jim Jones.
Say, Tanner. He's like, all right, man. He's like, venture it is. What'd you say?
Venture U it is.
Well, that's good, man. That you got a startup that
Yeah.
looking forward to launching and getting out here to the world.
Yeah. That one's a longer time framed one than the other one that I'm highly focused on right now.
All right, so you know me. Riley knows me. I'm into AR. I'm into VR. It's kind of like my thing, man. It's kind of like a hobby. It's almost like an embarrassing hobby, because when I first tried VR, it was the old Samsung Gear VR, which you bought the little thing and you put your phone in there. You had no remotes or
I got
controllers
a
or
picture
anything.
of that.
Well, no, you just in this thing you'd literally click a button on the side, and that's how you.
I got a picture of me with one on.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, with
And
the
you
phone.
and I'm moving around just using this thing, and I was like obsessed with this thing. I thought it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And now we're already getting like these Oculuses and these Meta Quests and all this stuff, and it's gotten so advanced. And now Apple's coming out with their Apple VR headset, and that's more of an augmented reality headset. And I know that you've worked quite a bit with the Microsoft Halo headset,
HoloLens, yep.
HoloLens. And so why don't you explain that one to us a little bit? What you've been working on with that?
Yeah, before I do, I'm gonna say I've come over here and I'm like trying to open the sliding glass door, and all of a sudden I look inside and Corey's like swinging his arms around with the headset. I'm like, he's at it again. I was like, no wonder he wasn't answering my text, dude. Like, he's been down here for 2.5 hours.
Beating up an invisible ghost.
Hey, man. I'm running around. I'm climbing buildings. I'm flying. I'm just flapping my arm. My wife's like, you can't fly, you idiot. Because I feel like I'm there, man.
Jumping
it's
off
awesome.
the deck.
It's awesome, man. I'm gonna have to have, dude. You should try the game, dude. You should try
I have.
Oh, have
You're
you?
in it.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
in it. Like, yeah.
So,
I love it, and that's why
yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. But I mean, Augmented's a little bit different, right? Because you're basically overlaying like a virtual,
a hologram, essentially.
yeah, basically a hologram on actual real life.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So
So our company is an extended reality software development firm. Extended reality is the umbrella term, and then you have AR, VR, and MR. And so I actually work with MR, which is mixed reality, where AR is like if you have these holograms and these real things overlaying, but you can't interact with them. And so what we're doing is we're using mixed reality, and the HoloLens 2 is mixed reality, where you have these holograms overlaying, and you can interact with these holograms. So the one that we're working on right now is for St. Cloud State. So we're working with education systems, post-secondary education. I initially started with K through 12 because my focus is helping the younger generation. That'll always be my goal as I continue. Mm-hmm. And we were creating a reading application. The tough thing is that there's not a lot of funding that they can give us to test and do this new technology and this new software. So we went to post-secondary, and St. Cloud State's allowed us to build a construction and architecture module for them. And so we're doing a holographic, laying and cement brick laying of a 10 by 10 square. So rather than having to bring in and rent all of the machinery, buy all of the products, and do the whole cement laying and then wait another day to polish it off, holographically, you have a holographic truck that you still have to do the exact same exact same movements for, and lay down the cement, smooth it over with the right tools, brush it, and then wait. You just wait for the loading sign that we made, right? And then you can polish it. And it's all the exact same movements that you're doing. You're just doing it holographically rather than having the physical.
So is there any kind of haptics or anything? Can they feel anything?
It's yes. I mean, you physically can't feel if you're like purposely trying not to feel the experience. You can not feel it. But if you're really immersed into it, there's almost like that feeling that you're there because of the surround sound that it gives you.
Mm-hmm. Also, can you actually hear the cement like when you're?
Yeah, like when you're moving your tools, right?
Yeah.
You have that surround sound, so it feels and seems like you're actually doing all of these movements. And so our goal is to then continue and get into the electrical engineering side, the machinery side, building motorcycles, and then even the health industry, where augmented reality is most prominent right now, where people will potentially be able to see a human body in front of them and do a surgery before they go in and do the surgery on the actual body itself. So it'll be helpful for doctors in that sense.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That is deep.
That's hands-on right
What
there.
I want to know, man, is how did Nintendo have that glove back in 1989? Remember? With the buttons on it? The Nintendo glove? And now it's been, 40 years and we haven't figured out a way to reproduce like a glove that has haptic feedback for virtual reality.
Maybe
It's gonna have to be your next venture, man.
Yeah, maybe we should get maybe we should get him to do that.
Yeah, no, that one's been the best one so far for us. Like I said, I partnered with somebody else who's got 3 majors at the University of Iowa back in the day: computer science engineering, electrical engineering, and mathematics, all within 4 years. So he's a very smart guy. So I invested in, and he came on board, as well as has 2 other developers that trust in him and believe in our company, and they have for the last year and a half. And we've been up and running ever since.
What's your company name?
It's called Xyro. Xyro.
Xyro.
Xyro.
Cool.
How old are you?
I'm 22. Just turned 22 back in June.
Okay.
Yep.
Congratulations.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm just, like I said, I know that people have the time. It's like, how much am I going to put forward towards making my life better and making the younger generations better as well?
Yeah, that's good work. especially, dealing with the younger generation.
Yeah.
Bradley's gonna be the dude that we all give like $10K to, and he returns like $100K when he sells his company for $10 million or something. He's gonna sell for a lot more than that. He'd be like, we're gonna give him $10K, and we're gonna get back like $1 million. He's gonna sell his company for $1 billion.
Well, you let me know when.
Everyone's telling me to sell, man.
Invest.
I'm just like, maybe I sell. Maybe I'm.
They're telling you to sell right now.
No, why would you do that now?
No,
Don't do that.
No, I know. I
That's
got a lot of older people
later,
that are
man.
saying potentially sell off, but I don't know. I'm passionate about it, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man, that's something that you guys both have in common. Is you guys have the desire to help the youth. Rob just spent a couple weeks going on tour at elementary schools to discuss his book, which
reading to kids and talking to them, and then I'm also cutting inside the juvenile detention center in Ramsey and Hennepin County.
Yeah,
so
I think that's super important.
Yeah, it is very important.
Yeah,
to reach out to the youth to try to get them before they start developing bad habits, and going down the wrong path. So I think they need more examples. So one of these days I'll get Cory in there with me in the schools or via the jails, and we'll start talking to them about podcasting as well.
What you should do, man, is you should invent a mixed reality app where the kids are like in like a chain gang, like picking up trash or something on the highway. You know what I mean? Just to learn what it's like to have to do community service and be in prison, man. So that way they just don't want to do it, man.
Yeah, I mean that's one way of doing it, I guess. But Cory wants to.
I think they like Pokemon Go better.
Yeah, he wants to create life, the movie Life virtually.
It's hard in here. Phone check. Just teach them how to shank.
Oh man,
they start shanking each other, man. They ain't never gonna want to go back, man.
They got scared straight, so you could just put that in a virtual reality thing. Are you dating right now?
No, I'm not dating right now.
All right, so you're gonna save all your money. So you trying to save it. So when you get to dating, just make sure that she's got some money, or what? What do you?
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, it's
focused.
Like, yeah, it's just like if somebody comes around and like it's supportive of what I'm doing and like doesn't just like take away from the time. Obviously, there's time that you need to spare and spend, but also like it can't be that, oh, you're working again type of thing. That's not at all what I want right now, and that's not at all what I need. So I'm not going to focus on it until something comes around the corner.
Okay, that's a good decision. Yeah, especially at 22.
Why you say that, man?
Well,
right now, Rob's wife Amy's watching the podcast. Like, where's Rob at? He told me he was gonna be home at.
No, I'm saying that's a good decision because of what he's got going on. He's got startup businesses, and he's trying to stay focused on what he's trying to do. And helping the youth is one thing, and that always is going to attract probably the opposite sex if you're doing something like that. And that means that you might be a good father. So people look at things like that. So that's a good thing.
So here I thought Rob was trying to help kids because he felt passionate about doing it, man. He's just trying to attract the opposite sex.
No,
just continuing on the youth. It's like I've always been like even sitting here now, like my legs are jittering and like I'm always wanting to move, and that's been beneficial for me to continue just doing one thing. Having school, real estate, playing lacrosse, going abroad, having two other startups. But kids nowadays, they've got so much at their fingertips and so much like quick energy and short attention spans. And to bring this gamification of education into their lives, I think would be super beneficial in their learning. So
definitely, man, definitely. I wish that they had video games to teach me when I was a kid. I was playing Super Mario Brothers, man, Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
there's a lot of interactive games now.
Yeah,
a lot
of computer games. But,
yeah,
now we're trying to get them into the movement as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good situation, man. We should quit the podcast and go play video games now.
Possibly. I know my kids are probably playing video games right now.
It's also pretty crazy how there's people on Twitch doing podcasts and stuff and playing video games that are making millions. Like,
dude, there's now people on Twitch streaming their life. Did you see that?
Yeah, sleeping.
There's people on Twitch now. They're just
streaming
their day, just streaming everything they do. They ain't even about video games anymore.
I told my son, I said, just turn the camera on, just point it at the screen. You're playing up here for 4 or 5 hours. Just turn it on.
Yeah.
You never know who's gonna start subscribing.
So instead of having a green screen and all that stuff, you're like, man, just point your Android phone at the screen, man.
just point it,
Just let it go.
Yeah, he
It'll
doesn't
probably
want
work.
he doesn't want to be on camera, so
Yeah.
it's just point at the screen and watch him. Let him watch you play. So
Yeah.
don't just play for nothing. Now you can
do it. Yeah, you can do a lot with.
you can play for money. So especially getting the viewers and the followers and stuff. So
Definitely. All right, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, appreciate the time.
You're actually the number one guest. You're the first guest on our podcast.
yep.
Yeah. We ain't have a guest yet. We're excited about it,
First one, best one.
and so we're bringing on guests, man. We're doing what we said we were gonna do.
So Riley, how can people find you?
Any social media, but biggest thing would be right now is Xyro, Xyroverse.com. Check out my website. Check out what we're doing. If you are interested in either coming on board or know people who are interested right now, we're coming up to the investment stage where we're going to start looking at investors and begin really ramping things up.
Told you, man. Told you.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have a feeling we might need more than 10 racks for this one.
Well, let's get the podcast rolling. We'll put some money in for the podcast. That way we don't got to come out of pocket. Start subscribing right now.
Thanks, guys.
All right, definitely.
Thanks for coming by.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we been coulda started, but it's never late. Do it for my kids, yeah, let's set it straight. Do it for your kids, gotta set it straight. It's time to regulate.